Okay, greetings from Melbourne, Australia, where we've been stuck in miserable lockdown for what seems like months and months and months. Lockdown is lifting, the sun is shining, and most excitingly, my new MacBook Pro seems to have just arrived. So what I thought I'd do is unbox it, do a little bit of a comparison of form factor and so forth with my existing 2017 MacBook Pro, and let's see how they compare. Always exciting to get these boxes from Apple, even right down to the exterior packaging. Everything just unfolds so nicely. So here it is. That is how your Mac will arrive. I do like that they're using a lot more recyclable packaging nowadays. Very sort of standard Apple box. Got the pull tab on the plastic. This is the base level MacBook Pro, so this is the 512 gig of storage. Most excitingly, 16 gig of RAM in the off-the-shelf configuration, which I think is very handy nowadays for people who, just lifts off, for people who like to have a lot of windows open. So we can see right off the bat the form factor here. See if I can turn this up. It's quite similar. This is that's my poor man's MagSafe adapter that I've just pulled out of my laptop from the old USB-C days. So right off the bat, the form factor is similar. The 14-inch is definitely a bit bigger externally. Obviously, the bigger screen requires a bit more space. They've taken some of that from the bezel, narrower bezels, but the form factor is a little bit different. Okay, let's pull it out. Feels like a fatter computer as well. It's interesting. Yep, it's definitely a little bit thicker. Okay, we'll come back to the accessories in a second, but let's just unwrap this. I'm actually really glad that they've moved to paper from plastic on this. Used to just be plastic wrapping on all of the computers up until now. All right, beautiful. So here we have the new MacBook Pro. Let's do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. Actually, before we get to that, we'll just see what's in here. So we've got the usual stickers and cleaning cloth and so forth. We have another USB-C charging brick. That'll be the 65-watt charger for the 14-inch MacBook Pro, I think. And what we do have now is a new charging cable. So that's USB-C to the new MagSafe 3 connection. I'll give you a little bit of a closer look at that. So it looks very similar to the old MagSafe 2 actually. I'm not quite sure how it's different. I'll find out soon enough. So USB-C to MagSafe 3. All right, let's get the boxes out of the way. We'll see what comes in here. Usually there's a couple of Apple stickers and a bunch of regulatory paperwork. So yep, sure enough, black Apple stickers this time. We've got the usual little fold-out thing of how to turn your computer on. Nothing too exciting, and a bunch of regulatory crap as anticipated. Actually doesn't look like there's anything else in there. There's a thick bit of board. I think that's just cosmetic. Okay, so this is interesting. We've got the two computers side by side. And you can see form factor wise, there's definitely a lot of extra thickness to the new MacBook Pro. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Stack them up one on top of the other. You can see the new MacBook Pro is definitely a fair bit chunkier than the old one. That's interesting. In terms of size, let's move the old one to one corner. You can see there the extra width and depth. So larger in every respect, but the thing that surprises me most is the extra thickness, to be honest. Very interesting. Okay, let's open them up. So we might do these side by side. So here is the old 13-inch MacBook Pro. spin this around and see how the screens compare. Sorry, a bit of reflection there off my kitchen pendant light. I'll tilt that down a little bit. So, hard to see the exact bezel dimensions while this is still starting up, but there we go. You can see there is dramatically reduced bezel space. The screen goes almost right to the edge of that monitor. That is just beautiful. Whereas on the older laptop here, you can see there's a lot more black ribbon around. We've got the new notch, love it or hate it, which is obviously a carryover from the iPhone, and just how you need to fit in a webcam and other bits and pieces, sensors and so forth, if you're going to have a screen that really does go to the edge like that. So it'd be interesting to see how the new macOS accommodates that with all the different menu bar icons that I'm likely to be lining up there. But beautiful, bright, colourful screen. Really looking forward to getting into this mini LED technology and seeing what it can do. The brightness already is looking pretty spectacular. Other things to notice are the keyboards are a bit different. So you can see the traditional MacBook Pro keyboard for the 2017 models upwards is 2016 models upwards is black on the silver background, silver recessed background, and the new keyboard, trackpad size looks quite similar. The new keyboard is all black. So the recessed portion that the keys sit in is all black. Obviously we've lost the touch bar, which I'm not too sad about. Touch bar was kind of cool, but I don't think it was worth the extra $500. And so we've got physical function keys now, and we've got a power key, power button, with the Touch ID sensor as well. So it's exciting. Obviously the ports and things, I think everyone is familiar by now that apart from the USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, we've got the new MagSafe port, which is exciting. And on the other side, the long anticipated return of the HDMI port, another USB-C Thunderbolt port, and an SD card reader. The other thing to note about the shape, so you'll notice the edge, the bottom edge of the laptop
to use English
is
as the
curved.
main language, press the return key.
All right.
To
I'd better shut her up, hey.
Australian English as the main language,
There we go.
press the return key.
The other thing to note is the new shape. The bottom edge is much more curved, and I think they're trying to do that to hide the new increased thickness of the laptop. You'll notice that on the older laptops there is a much sharper, more defined bottom edge to the laptop. This being a thicker machine, you can see that they've tried to...
reader called VoiceOver. If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac. If you would like to learn how to use VoiceOver to set up your Mac,
Anytime now,
press the
Siri.
Escape key.
All right, I think I better wind this up before Siri gets too annoyed. But you can see how they've tried to hide the additional thickness by curving off that edge a little bit more. It's not bad, it's nice. So that's the new, beautiful new MacBook Pro. No, I'm not in Afghanistan. Where's Australia gone? Should pop up shortly. So there it is. Looking forward to getting this puppy set up, getting some use out of it. Very, very nice to have a laptop, a non-16-inch MacBook Pro that comes off the shelf with 16 gig of RAM. That's going to make it a lot easier for people who want to buy a nice, capable laptop without having to wait a month for it to be custom built. Alrighty, I hope that's been helpful for you. I am going to stop this video and get back to setting up my new laptop. And the second most exciting thing happening this week is I'm finally getting a haircut. After months in lockdown, I really, really, really need a haircut. All right, hope you've enjoyed that. See you later.